Three things I liked about the Jabra Elite 65T True Wireless Earbud headphones. There's a lot to like about these headphones, but here are my three favorite things. Number one is the Bluetooth 5.0 technology. Bluetooth 5.0 allows these headphones to have a little bit better sound quality, way more range when it comes to where these are and where your device is, and also it limits the lag on things like videos. My second pro with these headphones is how secure they stay in the ear. So no matter if I was working out, let's say doing things like lunges, squatting, deadlifting, these stayed pretty secure in the ear, and that goes to say for my things like commuting where I'm walking a lot, they're very secure for that. So if you need a very secure true wireless headphone, these do a pretty great job. My third pro with these headphones is that they have 4 microphones built in, and that makes taking phone calls and having phone calls pretty crystal clear in the quiet setting. Now granted, that does come with a slight caveat, but in terms of providing a quality sound when you're talking to somebody one-on-one and you're in a more quiet setting, these headphones are pretty great for being true wireless. So now let's chat cons. I have 2 minor issues that I had with these headphones. And number one is, as much as I love those 4 microphones for providing a crystal clear phone call, they are a little bit problematic in public settings. The chances of them picking up surrounding sounds and giving them to the person on the other side of the line is pretty dang good, especially if you're on the street and let's say a siren goes by, that's gonna be picked up and it's gonna be pretty apparent that you're outside or wherever you're at. So before taking a phone call, just make sure you're in a quieter setting. It's not really a deal breaker, just something to kind of keep in mind with this model. My second con is the buttons. They're a little bit small, and that's kind of to be expected with true wireless headphones, but if you have big dumb fingers like me and they're swollen ever, or you're just not that great with technical or precise movements, then the buttons are a little bit finicky at first to get used to. Granted, over time, once you get used to the headphones, that gets way easier, but they're not the easiest headphones to navigate upon their first use. So now let's chat price. So these headphones used to be around $170. Most retail outlets have them at $150 now, so is that a fair price for what they have to offer? Personally, I say yes. They have Bluetooth 5.0 technology, so their quality is pretty great across the board in terms of sound quality. They have ample range, so if you need them in the work setting or if you're at the gym, these stay connected and very rarely have any issues staying connected. And then lastly, they stay in the ears really well. And again, for $150, I think that's pretty fair for everything that these headphones have to offer. So now let's chat performance of the Jabra Elite 65T True Wireless Earbud headphones. So for my test, I wore them in 3 different settings, and these settings are when I need headphones most. And these include my commute, at work, and when working out. So now let's talk about each and see how they perform. So for a little bit of context on my commute, I take the New York City subway to work, so I'm in a very busy and congested setting nearly every day. So that being said, I had 3 things I liked about these headphones in that setting. So first, the Bluetooth technology was pretty great at keeping them connected. I never really had any issues with them disconnecting on the train or going up and down stairs or just being on a congested street. Number 2, I like that they're pretty comfortable and the battery life lasts at least up to 5 hours, so I don't really have to worry about them dying mid-commute and being just kind of left stranded without any kind of sound. Number 3 is I like how there's not a lot of lag on video. So if I'm watching a video on the train with the Bluetooth 5.0, very rarely, if at all, did I ever pick up any kind of lag between what I'm watching and what I'm hearing. The only real issue I had with these headphones, and I mentioned this in the cons, is that they do pick up additional sounds if you're trying to take a phone call. So if you have to take a phone call in a busy setting, especially on the subway, I would say hold off and wait until you can find somewhere a little bit more quiet to have that talk. In terms of performance at work, these are some of my favorite true wireless earbud headphones, and that's for 2 distinct reasons. Number 1 is they are awesome, again, at taking phone calls when you're in quiet settings. These replaced actually my over-ear headphones that I used to use when taking phone calls, and I trust them a lot more with the sound quality. So I love them for that reason when in a quiet setting at work. My second pro with these is that while true wireless headphones do get a little bit uncomfortable over time, in my opinion, I think these are a little bit less, just because I think that there's a little bit less of an angle going into the ear in terms of promoting comfort over a long duration. I don't really feel like they're squeezing my head like some of the over-ear headphones can promote. And all in all, I think they fit pretty well. Granted, they do get a little uncomfortable when wearing them for hours on end, but if you're wearing them for let's say 2-3 hours at a time, these are pretty great and they're not that uncomfortable. So now my final test, working out. For me personally, that's what separates the good from the great. So here's what I liked about these headphones. I had 4 things that I really liked. Number 1 is, again, the Bluetooth technology. I like that I can leave my phone somewhere, move it 10, 20, 30 feet away, and still maintain a strong and clear connection. That's big for me, and I know it's big for others who are doing, let's say, more supersets or big trisets where you're doing different exercises at different parts of the gym and you don't want to bring your phone with you. Number 2 is I like the sound quality, how loud these get, and the bass. For a true wireless headphone, these do pretty well across the board in terms of getting loud enough to not only give you kind of your own little world inside the headphone where you don't hear everything around you, and also the bass hits pretty hard, so it really gets you going if you need that music kick to get motivated. My third pro is how secure they stay in the ears for different power movements, strength movements, and runs. These never really had any issues with falling out, so if you're worried about having a strong headphone that stays in the ear, I think these are a pretty safe bet. If you do experience any issues with that, then I would say look at the rubber end on the earbud piece or the in-ear piece to kind of scale and check what's going to fit your ear best to promote this best stability. My final pro with these is how you can hear ambient noise with kind of like the noise through feature they offer. So if you're on a run in a very busy setting, that's pretty clutch, especially when hearing cars go by or different sirens and stuff like that to just kind of keep you aware and keep you safe on the streets. These headphones do a pretty great job at providing that. So in terms of their overall performance, I was a fan of these headphones. They performed well across the board in terms of stability. They promoted a great sound quality that matched my needs at least. And also I like that the Bluetooth technology gives me ample range in the gym. So now let's look at a quick scope into the battery life here. So with the headphones themselves, they provide you with about 5 hours of playback time. Now that will vary slightly depending on the volume and how long you're playing them. I've actually found that when you're playing at a little bit of lower volume, like let's say around like 40 to 60%, you can actually get a little bit more time than the 5 hours that they say you can. So that's gonna obviously vary a little bit depending on the volume at which you're playing music with. The case itself is a charging mechanism and it holds about 10 hours of charge time. So if you put that with the headphones, that's about 15 hours of playback time. For true wireless headphones, that's pretty great. If you want to charge the case and the headphones and get the maximal amount of charge, it takes about 2 hours. So in terms of getting 15 hours of playback time, with only 2 hours of charge, that's pretty good. So now let's take a closer look at the headphones, their case, how to hook them up to your Bluetooth or sync them for that matter, and also the functionality that come along with these headphones. So to charge these headphones, you're just gonna simply drop them in and they're gonna automatically have that light flash and start charging. And if you wanna see how much charge is on the case, you can see that with the color down here, or the light for that matter, down by the micro USB port. So to sync them up with the phone, you can see that there's a green light up here too to indicate charge. You're gonna take out the headphones. So you're gonna take out the right headphone, which has the multifunctional button, and as you can see, it's currently trying to search for a Bluetooth source. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this off and hold it down for 5 seconds, and we're pretending this is syncing for the very first time. We're gonna turn on our Bluetooth. I'm gonna take this and hold it back down again for 5 seconds. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna enable the Bluetooth searching. And if we scroll down, we should see the Jabra Elite 65Ts. So once we press pair and sync, we're gonna take out the left headphone and they should sync automatically. If they do not, you can hit the volume button and it will turn on that left headphone. So they both sync automatically. So now that both headphones are synced up to the phone, how do you actually use them? So a lot's gonna play into the multifunctional button of the right. That's gonna be your pause, play songs. It's gonna be how you reject phone calls, how to take phone calls. So to pause and play a song, you're gonna hit this button once on the right side. To reject a phone call, you're gonna hit it twice. And to answer a phone call, you're gonna hit it once. If there is no phone call coming, if you hit the multifunctional button twice, that will enable the hear through feature, which will allow for better hearing of the ambient noise around you so you can be better aware of your surroundings. On the left headphone, we have the volume button. Obviously, there's the volume down button and the volume up button. And if you want to skip a song, you're going to hold one of these down for 2 seconds. All in all, that's pretty much the main functionality of these headphones. There are 2 different sides, and each side will have a different effect on what you want out of the headphone themselves. So all in all, the functionality is pretty easy to get used to. The buttons are a little bit small at times, but they're pretty easy to adjust to with consistent use. Once you put them back in the case, it will automatically desync with your device, as you can see, and you can close that up and you'll see the charging port right there to indicate how much charge is left on the headphones. And that wraps up my review of the Jabra Elite 65T True Wireless Earbud headphones. Across the board, I thought these performed pretty well and honestly matched my needs, the needs of a guy who's wanting them for mostly working out and commuting, pretty dang well. To read my full thoughts and kind of get a full scope of the technology and the pros and cons that go into this headphone, make sure to check out our review and Google BarBend and Jabra Elite 65T True Wireless Earbud headphones.